Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Audrey Williams. We're delighted to have you with us today as we share some great moments together. The program is packed with information, inspiration, and elevation. We'll get things started with the news, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
Good day, I'm Lisa Rowe and this is your JIS News for Friday, March 13, 2026. More than $21 billion in additional long-term capital could soon become available for investment in Jamaican businesses as the government moves to adjust pension fund investment rules. Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Favour Williams, made the announcement while opening the 2026-2027 budget debate in Parliament.
We anticipate that together with the Financial Services Commission, we will take a small but consequential step to increase the pension fund private asset limit from 5% of total assets to 7.5% of total assets. This represents a measured, reversible step to allow funds to begin reallocating to well-governed private investments that match their long-term liabilities.
Minister Williams says the move is intended to expand financing options for private sector development. A second phase of the reform is expected to raise the limit to 10% by April 2027, subject to regulatory monitoring.
As at the end of September 2025, pension funds held approximately $847 billion in invested assets, of which roughly $42.4 billion based on the current 5% limited is available for investment in the equity of private companies. Under the first phase of this change, an additional $21.2 billion of long-term capital will be allowed to be invested in private companies.
Another move to reform the financial sector is the step to increase the limit on foreign asset investments for pension funds and insurance companies. The proposal will raise the foreign asset investment cap from 10 to 15% of total assets.
The BOJ has advised that by June it will make adjustment to the limit and simplify the FX regulation. Of note, Madam Speaker, the additional 5% will be restricted to foreign currency denominated securities issued by locally domiciled issuers. This targeted change, to a large extent, preserves overall caps on external exposure while enabling pension funds to enhance their currency management and invest in high-quality local currency, local dollars investment.
Meanwhile, the government is also moving to expand investment opportunities for life insurance companies.
To address this, we will simplify Regulation 47 so that insurers can invest in corporate debt where either of two objective criteria is met. The revised framework will permit investments where instruments are secured by adequate collateral and bear fixed interest, or where instruments are issued, secured, or guaranteed by a solvent company assessed to be investment grade by a recognized rating provider and that meets a 2x fixed charge earnings test over the prior 2 years.
Online tax-free purchases are putting local small businesses at a disadvantage. That's according to the Finance Minister. She argues that the growth of duty-free online shopping has contributed to the decline of some small retail operations in Jamaica. Minister Favour Williams made the comments while outlining the government's plan to apply GCT to digital services and other intangible products purchased from overseas but consumed locally.
Given the change that has been happening in terms of our ability to easily order whatever we need online without the requisite taxes, this puts our local businesses or local retailers at a disadvantage. It is not equitable or fair. Our local businesses have to compete with tax-free items. And I want Jamaicans to consider that it's the people who work in these retail shops, these businesses, who are affected. when they close.
Minister Williams says the measure is intended to create a more level playing field between overseas-based online retailers and local businesses. The new tax measure is expected to generate approximately $300 million in revenue for the 2026-2027 fiscal year, with implementation scheduled for the fourth quarter of the financial year.
There's no thought to curtail digital purchases from wherever in the world you wish to buy. You will note you have no trouble getting foreign exchange to make the purchase.
Minister of Labour and Social Security Colonel Charles Jr. is again employing persons receiving grant support under the government's ROOFs program to use best practices while rehabilitating their hurricane-damaged homes.
What does that mean? Put on the hurricane strap. Don't cut the corners, because we live in a country where hurricane will come again. It doesn't make sense to do it the wrong way. Take the time and construct it the right way so that when things come and we confront the storm, we will get through without as much damage as we have now.
The minister delivered the message at the Abundant Life Ministry in Bounty Hall, Trelawney on Wednesday, where hundreds of residents were gathered to officially receive their grants under the Restoration of Owner or Occupant Family Shelters ROOFs program. Minister Charles Jr. revealed that more than $366 million was being distributed to Trelawney residents in this first phase, whose homes were damaged during Hurricane Melissa. Persons who previously submitted their information to the ministry assessment teams and need to follow up on their case were encouraged to visit the nearest parish office or contact the ministry at 876-922-8000-13. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security has also shared contact numbers for parish offices in Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Trelawney, St. James, St. Anne and Hanover on its social media pages. Jamaica is focused on building its irrigation systems as a climate adaptation strategy, says Climate Change Minister Matthew Samuda. This, he says, will help us build food security to sustain our country and even our Caribbean neighbors. The minister was speaking at the first National Youth Dialogue on Food Security held recently at the University of the West Indies Mona campus.
We are clear that food security is indeed a pillar of our climate response. It is the first target of climate change, which is making your supply chains and your food much more difficult to navigate. And for us, it's particularly important that we get this done because we are fortunate to have more groundwater supply than many other nations.
And finally, Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett is reporting that in 2025, Carnival in Jamaica generated $165.7 billion in total economic output. That is up from $111.7 billion in 2024 and represents an increase of nearly 48% in a single year. Speaking at a press briefing on Wednesday, Minister Bartlett said the figures signified that the event had moved beyond entertainment and firmly into the territory of national economic significance.
Carnival in Jamaica is a homegrown experience that turns culture into growth, creativity into commerce, and local energy into global demand. At its heart, Carnival in Jamaica is an economic engine. It is generating spending, supporting jobs, energizing small businesses, strengthening supply chains, and creating demand for Kingston and for Jamaica.
Crunching the numbers, he says direct spending related to Carnival reached 7.7 billion Jamaican dollars in 2025. Local revelers contributed roughly 3.1 billion Jamaican dollars in direct economic activity, and total direct visitors spent 23.6 million US dollars, or approximately 3.76 billion Jamaican dollars. The event generated 33.2 billion Jamaican dollars in household income and supported approximately 299 full-time equivalent jobs.
Numbers like that do not whisper, they shout. They tell policymakers, investors, and partners that Carnival is not just culturally exciting, it makes solid economic sense.
And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Lisa Rowe. Thanks for watching.
Do you own land and need a title? Well, the National Land Agency, NLA, can help. Through the systematic land registration process, the NLA will assist residents to get titles in declared project areas across Jamaica. Systematic land registration is the methodical and orderly registration of parcels of land in a designated area known as systematic adjudication area. For further information on the systematic land registration process, including declared systematic adjudication areas, who can apply and the benefits, visit the National Land Agency's website at www.nla.gov.jm or email asknla@nla.gov.jm. The National Land Agency, one goal.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, let's take a closer look at how funds are being allocated within the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information. We have a detailed breakdown of the recurrent and capital budget for the 2026-2027 fiscal year.
Jamaica's future is being powered by education, the passion of the youth, and sharing information. For the 2026-2027 fiscal year, the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information has secured one of the largest recurrent allocations of $199.34 billion. The ministry has been further strengthened by the integration of the Jamaica Information Service, now operating on a $1.39 billion budget. At the same time, the Child Protection and Family Services Agency has been allocated $5.3 billion to continue protecting the nation's children. The ministry will supplement these allocations with $717.06 million in fees to be collected from various agencies under its oversight. An additional $3.4 billion in capital spending will further drive transformation across the education system. A substantial $158 billion has been earmarked for early childhood, primary, secondary, and tertiary education. This money will carry out necessary repairs in school infrastructure and equipment, supply classroom furniture and textbooks, finance school meal interventions and teacher training programs, and other initiatives to support learning.
Teachers will have more opportunities for reskilling, digital literacy training, and certification to keep them abreast of new technologies, new pedagogical approaches, and global best practices.
The ministry is also placing innovation at the center of reform, with money going towards supporting STEM upgrades at the primary and secondary levels.
Technology is going to be the way forward, and that technology is what is going to help us to leapfrog and get our children to be acknowledged as the best that there is in the world.
$3.46 billion is also penciled in to manage curriculum development and the administration of local examinations and student assessments across the entire sector. Students with physical, intellectual, and other disabilities and learning difficulties will be supported through a $2.6 billion allocation. Learning does not happen in a vacuum, and the ministry understands that students' nutritional needs and access to transportation are important precursors. Hence, the $9.9 billion fixed for these support services. Youth Development Services will be administered through a budget of $314.5 million. Most of that, $229 million, is for promoting youth development and advocating for public investment in young people aged 15 to 24 years. There's also support for the ministry's 9 youth information centers and various youth organizations. The The ministry has been given $813 million to support its mandate to responsibly archive and disseminate news, information, and ideas on matters of public interest. This will be done through agencies such as the Public Broadcasting Corporation of Jamaica (PBCJ), Cool 97 FM, Jamaica Archives and Records Department, and the Government Records Center. Capital funding will drive 4 major projects for the new financial year. Through the Education Transformation Program, implemented by the National Education Trust, $410 million will allow for the building of an auditorium and canteen at the Mount St. Joseph High School. Classroom and other construction activities are set to be completed at 11 schools through a $1.49 billion allocation for another capital project. The money is to continue work under the Primary and Secondary Infrastructure Program designed to eliminate shift system and overcrowding at 17 institutions. The 2026-27 allocation will also fund civil works at Westwood High, complete electricity upgrading at 4 schools, and install security fencing at 7. Another $857 million is earmarked to advance the modernization of the education sector. Under the Education System Transformation Program Phase 2, this fiscal year, the ministry intends to finalize the STEAM education policy and develop an ICT strategy and requirement plan. Construction will also begin on a STEAM school in Bernard Lodge, and a number of science labs will be rehabilitated. The 4th capital project is continuing with a $647 million loan from the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. The Jamaica Education Project is designed to improve teaching practices and learning conditions in secondary schools and expand data-driven decision-making. This year, the initiative will take the form of developing training plans for grades 7 to 13 educators, procuring science and audiovisual equipment, and enhancing the education management information system. There will also be interventions to identify at-risk students and boost student retention. The 2026-2027 budget signals more than numbers on a page. It reflects a national commitment to transform education, support youth development, and effectively marshal information for Jamaica's growth and prosperity.
Hi, hello. Yes, you. Come. Make we talk. You see, what I want to know is what happened to some of the manners. You see, as a proud country girl with born and grow at St. Mary, I'm a girl with manners and respect. I was taught to say, hi, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. So I don't know what happened to some of them make it seem like having common courtesy a bad something. What if you have a drop down? You expect the man where you just walk past of it, turn around and help you? Have a look brought up some man. But on a serious note though, having manners and respect is more than just speaking words to people. It's a core pillar of Jamaican culture that's rooted deep in how our grandparents and older relatives raised us. It defines a person's character and implies more than just politeness. It proves that you were raised well, or you simply know better, so you do better. Good manners are free. Let us embrace being true Jamaicans by having good manners.
Healing begins within. Take a moment for yourself. Healing is a journey. Start yours today.
It's also National Nutrition Month. Up next, we look at how one school is using food grown on its own grounds to help support its meal operations and provide nutritious options for students.
Nestled in the rural expanse of northwestern Clarendon, Frankfield Primary and Infant School stands as a beacon of innovation and sustainability in agriculture education. With an enrollment of nearly 600 students, the school has embraced an initiative that aligns with the Ministry of Education and Youth's broader vision. It exemplifies the National School Nutrition Policy's goal of integrating local produce into school meals.
A critical component of the National School Nutrition Policy is that we want to infuse the local produce. And one way to do that is to get the schools on board in terms of school gardening. And so the approach is one of collaboration. When we work with the schools can have the local consumption being part of the meal preparation at school. And so it's a critical aspect of the policy.
Frankfield Primary was among 26 schools selected to kickstart this initiative, receiving $392,000 to get their garden project off the ground. The approach?
We formed a committee, and then because we don't have much space, we decided that we were going to do container gardening. However, when we looked at the soil that we have, we realized that the soil is very rich. So we decided to scale down the containers and plant the crops directly into the soil. We also decided to erect a greenhouse, and 2 teachers volunteered their services to erect it one weekend.
The selection of crops was strategic.
We wanted something that was quick, that is resistant to pests, and will give you a good yield. And so we decided that we're going to use callaloo as the base crop. And then we introduced cucumbers, lettuce, pak choy, gungo peas, pumpkin, among several other plants that you see.
Some of the suckers, they were donated to us from parents, also students, because the students are doing R&T, that's resource and technology, so some of them will take in their seedlings for us to use. So right now we have a greenhouse at the back of the tuck shop, and we also plant some crops along the different parts of the school with the limited space that we have.
Welcome to Frankfield Primary and Infant School greenhouse. So I like about the greenhouse that they do not use genetically modified seeds like other schools or other farmers. Everything in here is fresh. And about the canteen, that they don't have to buy or spend a lot of money on crops to use inside of the canteen for our lunches. So instead of wasting money, they have it at their fingertips to come and pick and use it inside of the canteen.
When it comes down to the matter of nutrition, it's a whole school, whole community, and that is why we would have met with the vendors, we would have updated them in terms of the approach, in terms of the goal. And I must say the vendors have been super supportive in terms of the role that they have to play in ensuring that whatever is it that they are also providing to the students is healthy and nutritious.
The school garden, it has a lot of benefits. First of all, you know, the 21st generation, they are mostly on their gadgets. And even though this is a rural school, they are still on their gadgets. So you need to get them to become one with nature and, you know, to learn how to grow the crops and to know that no matter the space that you have, you can do something in growing crops.
I learned in my social studies class about different parts of agriculture, and I learned how to plant the seeds and how to care for the plants as they grow.
In the school cafeteria, we use the pak choy, callaloo, we use sweet pepper, also the cucumber, right? Others are used as well, but those are the ones that we mostly use. And we use those for the students to eat whenever they are having lunch, for them to stay more healthy, give them more nutrition and so on.
Reflecting on the progress, Kyra Jade can hardly believe her eyes.
It's hard to think that 2 months ago this garden didn't even exist. It has made a wonderful contribution to our school and students.
I just want to encourage Jamaicans. You know, most Jamaicans do not have a large plot of land, but it doesn't matter the space, you can do something. You have tires, you have bottles, you have pots. Just look to see what works well in your area and plant something, and you will feel good when the harvest comes.
Frankfield Primary and Infant School's garden project is not just an agricultural endeavor. It's a testament to the power of community, education, and sustainability coming together to enrich the lives of students. An example for schools across Jamaica.
Did you know that there are certain areas across Jamaica where sounding your car horn or making loud noise from your vehicles is an offense? Under the Road Traffic Regulations 2022, the authority may declare specific areas as silent zones. These zones are created to protect peace, especially around hospitals, schools, nursing homes, and other sensitive locations. In these silent zones, once the notice has been published, no loud noise can come from your vehicle, and no horn or warning device should be sounded during the specified hours. If you do, you're committing an offense. Now, there are important exceptions. If blowing your horn is reasonably required to prevent a collision, you will not be penalized. And of course, this rule does not apply to emergency vehicles. So, the next time you approach a silent zone, be mindful of the restrictions and abide by them.
The Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival was the highlight of the weekend, drawing crowds from all walks of life to celebrate our culinary delights and the rich flavors of Jamaica's world-famous coffee.
We are showing that coffee is very versatile, and separate and apart from it being a great beverage, it also has other practical values.
This is where we wrap up today's program. I hope you've been informed, inspired, and uplifted. Join us again tomorrow for another engaging edition of Jamaica Magazine, right here on this station. If you missed any part of today's show, you can catch the repeat and more stories at jis.gov.jm. I'm Audrey Williams. Thanks for watching, and as always, walk good.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.